this word, Raksha, which Brahma uttered. The Rakshas told Brahma, all right, we will not eat you, but you should tell us what to eat. Brahma was greatly disturbed and surprised by how the demons spoke. The Rishi Maharshis, Tapasvis, and Brahmarshis performed many austerities and penances, but they had no protection. They didn't have any residence. Brahma prayed and called out, Trahimam, Trahimam, O Pundarikaksha. Then who came? Vishwakarma came. He came to empower the jivas. Being thus engaged, the jivas would no longer have any inclinations towards fulfilling their animalistic propensities. The jivas built houses and many artifacts. They sewed clothes and started to use fire. Meanwhile, Brahma thought, oh, the jivas are only continuously working now. They only pile blocks of stones. Also, they acquire land and claim everything they see as their own. What can I do? How should I maintain this creation? Brahma also became sick when all the conditioned souls became sick. Dhanvantari then appeared. His appearance heralded the arrival of Ayurveda. He prescribed certain herbs that would cure everyone, but Brahma saw how everyone unnecessarily disturbed each other. A tiger will only kill animals when it is hungry. If humans are far worse, they would kill everyone. Brahma prayed to God. God appeared in Bhadragasham to connect the conditioned souls. Why did Narayan Rishi appear in Bhadragasham? Narayan Rishi engaged in many austerities to unconditionally help all the living entities. Mahalakshmi also came and manifested the Badri tree. The tree bears small leaves and small sour fruits. The leaves of this tree are very strong. The tree provides shelter from the scorching heat and excessive downpour. During the summer, the tree provides refreshing shade. Conversely, it provides warmth during the winter. When Nara and Narayana rishis were doing austerities, they were visited by Brahma and all the demigods. Brahma and all the demigods asked, how can we control our senses and mind? What should we do? Narayan Rishi replied, Mahalakshmi will give something. What did Mahalakshmi give? She gave barley. And Narayan gave sesame seed. Barley and sesame seeds are good sources of protein. A person will never be sick or weak by eating this produce of the earth. His mind and senses will also never be disturbed. Everyone then started eating the husks of raw barley. Mahalakshmi said, although I gave you food, why don't you offer it to Lord Narayan? Mahalakshmi then hid the barley within its husk. It was no longer possible to eat it. Srihari himself gave many types of food to the jivas during Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwarapara Yuga. He told the jivas, by eating these forms of food, you will not commit sin, but you will be guilty of sin by eating meat and other forms of food that are in the modes of passion and ignorance. Therefore, he arranged for the milk of cows. He requested Mother Saravi to provide milk for everyone. He also arranged for rainfall. Rainwater is clean water. Along with water and milk, God also arranged roots, fruits, and grains. Srihari made these arrangements in Satya Yuga. Therefore, mangoes, barley powder, milk, and water are offered to Badri Narayan by Mahalakshmi. She also offers many types of fruits and roots. Srihari's remnants are then distributed to all living entities. The Rishi Maharshis became very happy. They followed Mahalakshmi's rules. They were recipients of her mercy. The Yakshas, Rakshas, Kinnaras, Nagas, Vinaras, and other beings were no longer envious of each other. They completely desisted from fighting each other. By drinking blood and eating meat, you will have a demoniac nature. All the demoniac beings became friends with each other at the start of Satya Yuga. They were helpful to each other. Mahalakshmi herself opens the doors in Bhadrakashram. By having Sri Hari's darshan and by offering him obeisance, a person is showered by many blessings. Therefore he is giving darshan today to everyone. How can the jivas become friends with God? Mahalakshmi is asked, you say that Sri Hari is our helpful friend. His darshan cools everyone's hearts. Eating, sleeping, fighting, and enjoying are not sources of such happiness. Sri Hari's darshan gives everyone pure happiness. Everyone is pleased at heart. His darshan, blessings, and words are inconceivably nectarian. So how should we please Sri Hari? What is the process? Mahalakshmi replied, I will tell you the process. All of you should offer tulsi and chandan, sandalwood paste, to Sri Hari. He doesn't accept anything else. He gives everything, yet he only desires chandan and tulsi. But the taste of chandan is very bitter. Yet your body will be cooled by eating chandan. Chandan has many medicinal values. Our Veda recommends chandan to those whose body is scorched by the intolerable heat of enjoyment. Therefore, Dhanvantari gave chandan. The Rishi Maharshis would apply the oil of chandan on their heads. Their hearts would be completely cooled. They would never be disturbed. Tulsi and chandan is always offered to Lord Narayan, and Mahalakshmi distributes the Lord's remnants to everyone. Everyone is very pleased and happy by receiving these remnants. Although chandan is very bitter tasting, when it is smeared on the body, it cools the body. The body will not suffer from boils or other problems. This chandan is very helpful. Lord Nrsimhadev was very angry after killing Hiranyakashipu. Everyone smeared his body with chandan to pacify the Lord. Pleased, the Lord took rest. Sri Hari himself awards permission to his devotees to apply chandan on him. He tells his devotees, I will give you many benedictions if you apply chandan on me. During this chandan yatra, tulsi and chandan are always offered to the Lord. After receiving Mahalakshmi's permission, the devotees offer bhog every morning to Lord Narayan. They offer many drinks to the Lord. Sesame seeds bear much importance. Even an Ekadasi is named after sesame seeds. The name of the Ekadasi is Saptila Ekadashi. So these rules and regulations have been followed since Satya Yuga. Many types of grasses, fruits, and other forms of food have been classified in the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance since Satya Yuga. According to the food you eat, you will become a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. Your nature will correspond to the food you eat, the clothes you wear. You should have diet control. There are 4 stages: Brahmachari, Grihas, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. Therefore, after giving darshan to everyone, Badrinarayan gives his charnamritam, chandan, and tulsi to everyone. The brahmacharis should engage in austerities, vows, and fire sacrifices. But the grahasas cannot do this because they have to work from early in the morning. Vanaprasthis also cannot do this. The vanaprasthi is always in deep contemplation. A sannyasi is above everything. You should seriously and carefully follow these regulations. Narayan Rishi ordered Vedavyas to manifest the scriptures. Vedavyas then manifested the scriptures that were in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Why? The standard of everyone is not the same. It is not possible for everyone to become brahmacharis. Therefore, many become grihastas, but not everyone can live like a grihasta. Therefore, they became vanaprasthis. Ultimately, they become attached to God and offer everything in His service. They then become sannyasis. The mood of everyone is not the same. A person resides in the ashram, but he thinks, how to do business here? How can I control everyone? How will I be great? A humble and sweet mood will not enter his heart, but all the arrangements were made for the upliftment of the conditioned souls after creation in Satya Yuga. How would a person be happy in Satya Yuga? He would be happy by doing meditation and performing austerities. He would not look at anything. Being of such fixed consciousness, he followed the soul and the super soul. His senses were completely withdrawn from sense objects. He would barely eat. Eating excessively causes an adverse reaction, but the conditioned soul wants to eat and enjoy by any means, yet he is never happy. All the senses of the conditioned soul are always ready to eat or enjoy. Also, a conditioned soul desires to have his body replenished because he desires uninterrupted enjoyment. Answering Brahma's prayers, Narayan Rishi descended to this world to help all conditioned souls control their senses.
Is this very much longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to read a little bit, but I think this is a very lengthy lecture.
Yeah, it'd be good because there's a lot of Shastra, then he starts quoting. So yeah, it's. I'm just trying to see if there's any highlights. If there's any highlights.
What site is that?
Rasik Mohan just sent me an email. So.
Yeah, his Gmail.
Yeah, he just goes into Chandan Yatra. That's all. After that, it's just talking about Chandan Yatra.
Okay. Jai Ho. Can you turn the camera? It's already on, because I was filming as you were reading. Gurve Gaura Chandraya Radhikai Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktai Tad Bhaktai Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtacharya Satyani Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatvane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayani Dhyane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Niti Namane Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Namane Gauda Trishe Nama. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Dhar Goswami and Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa Statarasata Sri Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. My Dandavat pranams to all my Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis. So just to mention a few points about Akshaya Tritiya, which are highlighted by Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Jaldan on this titi. I have witnessed this around Bengal, in Calcutta, Vrindavan, and even Hyderabad. Especially the merchant community ranges for big earthen pots full of water to offer water to any passerby. And they also donate earthen pots along with a ladle for serving water and a cloth to filter it. In Bengal, they offer a water pot and a fan in the temple. On this titi, even the Adivasis, the tribal community, who are not so well versed in the scriptures, offer mangoes to Bhagavan first, and then. So even though mangoes may be widely available before this titi, they will not consume them, being aware of the glories of this titi. The belief of the general masses is that whatever auspicious ritualistic activities one performs on this titi, it bears inexhaustible fruit. That's the meaning of akshaya. So, by Vedic, if one seeks wealth and performs charity on this titi with this motivation, then one will never experience any deficiency of wealth in his whole life. his wealth will become inexhaustible. But it does not mean that he will attain Vaikuntha. With respect to the example above, the term akshaya implies that such an individual will never experience any deficit of wealth in this life. But in reality, is there anything eternal or everlasting in this material world? In other words, since our lifespans are short, we cannot possibly experience all the results of our actions in one lifetime. Many believe the performance of these various ritualistic activities and giving this charity and so forth is not really applicable, because the devotees are engaged in the most auspicious activity, namely bhakti, which bears inexhaustible results and fruits. Inexhaustible. So what the karmis and the jnanis and the yogis, they're very expert in arguing on the strength of revealed scripture, but he has firm faith in the objective. That's even more important, isn't it? The purport of this description is that the second-class devotee has firm faith in the procedure of devotional service unto Krishna, but he may sometimes fail to offer arguments and decisions on the strength of revealed scripture to an opposing party. But at the same time, he is still undaunted within himself as to his decision that Krishna is the supreme object of life. So this is the main thing for a Madhya. His faith cannot be changed. Now the neophyte, or the third-class devotee, is one whose faith is not strong, and who at the same time does not recognize the decision of the revealed scripture. The neophyte's faith can be changed by someone else with strong arguments or by an opposite decision. They begin devotional service and they come to the Lord for relief in the matter of their respective self-satisfaction. So where Krishna says this in the Gita, in 7 types of punishment, 4 types of duskriti, right? So they're technically in the classification of kanishta, of neophyte. So he says, so they're seeking their self-satisfaction. Right? They go into such beginners can be elevated to the second class or to the first class platform if they do what?
Associate with them.
Associate with pure devotees. It is possible in course of time. Just see how it's always continuing to be mentioned. Associate with pure devotees, associate with pure devotees. Now an example of the neophyte class is Maharaj Dhruva. He was in need of his father's kingdom, and therefore he engaged himself in devotional service to the Lord. But then in the end, when he was completely purified, he declined to accept any material benediction from the Lord. And similarly, Gajendra, the elephant, king of the elephants, he was distressed. Why was he distressed? The king of the crocodiles had his foot in his mouth and was trying to actually kill him by pulling him into the pond, right?
That's where Prabhupada used the example of being in the correct ashram. Remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Madhudrish, Madhudrish.
Okay, tell. Microphone.
Evidently the word was out that Madhudrish was struggling with maintaining his sannyas. And that's at this time Gurudev Prabhupada, this particular Prabhupada, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he said, because the elephant's natural element isn't water, he was weak.
Mm-hmm.
So So similarly, if one is not weak, is not strong enough to be in the sannyas ashram, he should be in the grahastha ashram. Wherever one can senses are stronger, he should be in that ashram.
Okay, that's helpful information. So took a lotus, and then his prayers, they're important from Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was in this distress and he prayed to Krishna for protection, and after which he became a pure devotee, Gajendra. And similarly, Sanak, Sanatan, Sananda, and Sanat Kumar, they were all in the category of wise and saintly persons, and they were also attracted by Deva's platform. So here, the solution is what?
Satsanga.
Yes, Mahat Sangha, especially, with the exalted pure devotees. This is really the essence of the whole process of bhakti. That's why in the 5 foremost processes of bhakti, the first thing that's mentioned, sadhusanga. We can never underrate or underestimate the importance of sadhusanga in our spiritual life. Kanishtas and neophyte devotees, they are not able yet to determine this, because the definition of the neophyte devotee in the 11th canto, there's a verse for each level, each one of the 3, there's a verse defining what are the characteristics of the devotee in that stage. So what is it told is the quality and the characteristic to the spiritual master as well, that they can have faith that my spiritual master is representation of Krishna, Bhagavan. But then it says, Nat bhakteshu chanyeshu. They don't have Shraddha yet. They don't have that ability to properly recognize, to properly honor, to properly associate with who? Bhaktas. There are many, many levels, of course, in the Kanishta levels. Like Gurudev would give 3 levels of each one of the 3, right? But actually Gurudev said there's many, many, many. Uttam, their faith gradually becomes strong, and then gradually they enter into the Madhyam level. So, the 5 activities of bhakti, sadhusanga, nam kirtan, bhagavat shravan, mathura vasa, Shri Murtir Shraddhaya Seva. The last one is Shri Murtir Shraddhaya Seva, to serve with faith, Shri Murti. Even Madhyam and Uttam Mahabhagavats, they all worship the Lord, but their recognition of Him, their realization of His presence and so forth, that has gradations. So, Prabhupada is going, types of devotees have been described in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and they have all been accepted as pious, Sukritina. They have Sukriti from previous lives. Without becoming pious, no one can come to devotional service. What has just been told here?
Becoming pious, no one can come down.
Come to devotional service?
Yeah. If someone is the opposite, there's also 4 categories of the opposite. They're called Dushkritina. Jai Shri Shri Guru Radha. So the Dushkritina are also mentioned just after that verse in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Dushkritina. They don't have Sukriti. They have, and whose sinful reactions in life have completely stopped. Only they can take to Krishna consciousness, others cannot. That verse in the Bhagavad Gita is, oh, you're not, oh.
No, I just had a question.
Oh, okay.
I was just waiting.
Yeah.
I was thinking earlier today, I was reading from Srila Maharaj's The Golden Volcano, and in there he was saying that nothing that anyone has done in a previous life can give them any qualification for becoming a devotee. Only faith and I don't remember what the other thing was.
Sincerity.
Yeah, could give you qualification, but here it seems so clear that you need all